Hi guys, so I recently got into UW's Masters of Science in Human-Centered Design and Engineering program. Wow, that's a mouthful, and my voice is like kind of scratchy right now. But basically, I wanted to make a video about my application process from the perspective of a career pivoter. I thought this video might be helpful for anyone who's looking to pivot into product design from a different career like myself. It might also be helpful for anyone who's looking to accelerate their career through this master's program. I've talked to a couple individuals who are already in product design or product management and are still looking to go into this program. Okay, so I also have my iPad to the side, so if I just kind of glance at it, it's because I'm like looking at my notes. I would say product design is a career that has definitely gotten a lot more popular over the years, and with that trend, it has also led to a lot more people applying to human-computer interaction or HCI programs. Personally, I've been wanting to take my product and my design skills to the next level, and so I thought that this program would be the perfect opportunity to strengthen those skills. So firstly, I wanted to talk about the program. So a lot of this information you can find on the website, which I'll link below, but I also just wanted to quickly summarize it in this video in case perhaps this is like your preferred form of media consumption. So essentially the hcde program is a 2-year program, which does mean that you'll have the opportunity to do an internship between those 2 years and possibly secure a full-time return offer, but of course that is never guaranteed. Another thing I'll note is that this is an interdisciplinary curriculum where you can take classes in design, engineering, and strategy, and I think as someone who has so many interests, this is ideal for me. UW is also pretty strong in research, and there's plenty of research opportunities through the directed research groups. Another thing I'll note is that the classes are offered nightly between 6 to 10 p.m., so you can technically do this program while you're working, like a 9-to-5 job. They do offer classes both full-time or part-time, so I believe that if you take this part-time, it could take you 3 years to complete, but normally taking this program full-time should take you about 2 years to complete. The classes are offered in person, so you can't do it remotely, but you get to be in Seattle, so I feel like that'll be pretty fun. Acceptance rate for this program is about 20%. It is a pretty well-known program for those in this industry, and it does have a strong alumni network. From the people that I've talked to, I think that's one of the greatest strengths of this program, as opposed to just the content you learn in the curriculum itself. I also wanted to note that this is different from UW's MHCI plus D program. That is a 1-year program. The two I would say are pretty similar, and people can get confused about the differences. I was confused about the differences, so I'll include a link below comparing both of those programs. But this video is about the HCI. I'm mixing it up. This video is about the hcde program. With the application, you basically have 4 requirements. You need your resume, the statement of purpose, the recommendation letters, and then your transcript. What isn't required for the hcde program is interviews. Thank God. But yeah, you don't need to do interviews. And this one actually surprised me, but you don't need a portfolio to apply for this program. I already had one because I have been applying to design and product jobs for a while now, but you don't need one when applying to this program. According to the website, they don't need a portfolio because they just don't really have the time to look at it, given that a lot of people apply for this program. I will say though that probably if you're applying for this program, you're going to be applying for other HCI programs as well, and you're gonna need a portfolio for some of the other HCI applications. So in summary, it is best, of course, if you do have a portfolio, but it is not necessary. Another requirement that you don't need is the GRE. Again, thank God. I did not want to have to take a full-on another test for grad school. But yeah, for me personally, I did also apply to a couple HCI programs. All the ones that I applied to did not require a GRE. And these are for the top HCI programs as well, so very glad for that. Now I wanted to get into the specifics of my stats. So I'm just gonna go in the order of the requirements that I talked about. So the first one was resume. So I literally just finished undergrad, so everything on my resume is undergrad experience. Definitely nothing from high school anymore. I graduated from USC while studying health promotion and disease prevention, and I had a minor in web development. I always tell people, so health promotion and disease prevention is essentially public health. I was pre-med for a bit, but then I decided I didn't really want to do that anymore because I have other aspirations and pursuits in life. And so that's why I strayed away from that path. And then for web development, it was essentially learning the basics of coding. So just like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, things like that. GPA, I did have a 3.9 out of 4.0. I'm not really sure how important a high GPA is for this program or for grad school, but I'm sure it varies per program. I think it can be better for you to have a high GPA so that it strengthens you as an applicant, but I'm not sure if it's necessary. I also did do 2 internships in undergrad, so I did one in consulting and one in product design. I did additional work as a product manager and a product lead for 2 nonprofits under this organization called Develop for Good. On my resume, I also included any relevant clubs that I did in undergrad. Some of these clubs did help me produce projects that I added to my portfolio. I did also note a couple extracurriculars that weren't design related, so I founded USC's first healthcare consulting club and also worked as a marketing director for the Asian Pacific American Student Assembly. I think even though these aren't design related, it does show leadership and the ability to take initiative. And the last thing that I'll note about the resume is the website does say professional experience is not needed, but they do consider it when making a decision. Since I just came straight from undergrad, I don't have any professional experience besides my internships. Now I wanted to move on and talk about the SOP, or the Statement of Purpose. So I just wanted to read off what the website directly says that they want. So it says, we are looking for applicants who demonstrate resilience, intellectual curiosity, creativity, and a growing interest in the social impact of technology. In addition, we are looking for applicants who can demonstrate some level of past community engagement and/or leadership. You also have 2 questions you need to answer for the SOP. So the first question is, how have your prior activities and experiences, for example, things you've done in school, in the workplace, in your community, and/or extracurricular, prepared you for this program and this field? Please provide specific examples. And then the second question is, please describe your particular interest in human-centered design and engineering and explain what specific elements of the program make it a good fit for you. How will this program assist you in your longer-term goals? Why did I say it like that? How will this program assist you in your longer-term goals? Please provide specific examples. The way that I'm interpreting these 2 questions is that the first question is sort of asking, what can you bring? What are your previous experiences that you have that you can bring to this program? And the way that I interpret the second question is more kind of like, why this program? Going into how I answered these questions, basically for the first question, I talked about self-studying for design while studying healthcare in college. I highlighted my design extracurriculars, and I talked about how the skills I learned in studying even a subject that seems so far away, healthcare, can be relevant to design. I think some skills that are pretty transferable from healthcare to design is literally research and data analysis. Another thing that I'll note is, it's very specific, but if you are applying from like a healthcare background, I think healthcare people have like a strong sense of empathy, and I hope you do, because you're going into a career where you're helping save people's lives, right? And you're able to take that level of empathy and bring it to design, which requires you to be empathetic and understand users' pain points so that you can design solutions and alleviate those pain points. And the great thing is that the transfer of skills that I'm talking about with research, data analysis, empathy, that's not just coming from like a healthcare background. Any industry that you're coming from, I'm sure that you have transferable skills that you could bring into product design. A skill that I've strengthened in the past year is storytelling. In my case, I was able to talk about healthcare, but I'm sure, again, in whatever industry you come from, whether it's like architecture, history, maybe like political science, like you'll definitely still have transferable skills to product design. I truly think anyone can pivot from whatever background they come from. Moving on to my response for the second question. So I was very clear about what I wanted out of this program and why I'm interested in product design specifically in this program. Especially important to clarify when you're coming from a different background or career. People are going to be wondering why you are attempting to switch careers when you come from a different background, so you want to make sure that you explain that well. Especially for the second prompt, I would say I did a lot of research. Again, I'll offer links to the resources that I use below in the description. But yeah, I looked into the available research opportunities such as UW's directed research groups, the actual program's curriculum, and then I also found this thing called the DUB community. So DUB essentially stands for Design, Use, and Build, and it's basically a community of both faculty and students interested in human-computer interaction. And then moving on is recommendation letters. So you do need 3 recommendation letters, no less, no more. The website says, choose individuals that know you well and are able to speak in depth regarding your character, accomplishments, and abilities. It also says, these letters should be from people who can judge your ability to undertake graduate studies, potentially including present or former professors, work supervisors, or clients, and something in parentheses in the case of consulting assignments. I'm not really sure what that last part means. I definitely read this before I decided who I wanted to ask for letters of recommendation. So for example, one of the things they noted is you want to choose someone who can judge on your ability to undertake graduate studies. For one of the people I selected to write my letter of recommendation, I wanted them to speak on my work ethic as a student, and in that particular class I was pretty proactive and a good student, so that's why I chose them to write my letter of recommendation. But for other people who wrote my letter of recommendation, I think they were able to see my skills outside of the classroom and perhaps like accomplishments and abilities in design, and so I asked someone else to write that instead. I do think you want to diversify the people you ask for your letters of recommendation and think about how they can speak to different strengths and aspects of you. Just to clarify, I got my letters of recommendation from my public policy teacher, my Chinese teacher, and my mentor from Develop for Good. So my public policy teacher I had in my last semester of college, and she was able to really speak on my passion for healthcare, which I ended up mentioning in my essay. And I do think that this was particularly important because in my essay, I talked about how I can connect healthcare to design. And so just having her write about my passion for healthcare, I think just kind of further strengthened that narrative. The second person I asked for a letter of recommendation from was my Chinese teacher. He's the person I was kind of talking about first, where I had a good relationship with him and was a pretty good student in that class. Like I'd spend extra time studying Chinese with him outside of the classroom. In the classroom, I participate a lot. You could tell I was really eager to learn Chinese. If you don't know, I'm Chinese, but I don't speak Chinese well. And so when I finally had the opportunity to take it in college, like I was just really eager and pumped to learn. And I think just having that energy in the classroom and having him kind of talk about that was definitely helpful for my application process. And the last person I asked for a letter of recommendation from was my mentor from Develop for Good. So my mentor is also a design manager at Apple, and he was able to actually watch me lead a team through a product lifecycle. He was literally able to see me collaborate on a team and provide design critiques on wireframes and prioritize features. Kind of like speaking on my design skills and product thinking, and able to sort of highlight that and bring that in my application. So once you have all your materials, the resume, statement of purpose, recommendation letter, and transcript, then you're ready to submit your application. And I believe the cost and / fee of the application is $90. It's just additional advice that I had for anyone who's looking to apply to this program, but don't apply last minute. Obviously, like the more time you have, then you can like draft more applications. You don't have to like rush to get your letters of recommendation in. I'm like not speaking from experience, but like, you know, like definitely earlier is better. You'll have more time to write different drafts and revise and improve and like really perfect your application before submitting it in. I think this is a really good piece of advice, but I highly recommend talking to alumni. I feel like a lot of people underestimate cold messaging. From my personal experience, I've cold messaged so many people, and at least the alumni in this particular program are very willing to help. Like they're so excited to tell their story and share their resources and everything. And you never know when the information that someone gives you can really benefit your application. Some of the people that I talked to were career pivoters, which was also motivating for me to apply as someone coming from a different background like healthcare. And I think the last tip that I have is to really reflect on yourself. I think writing applications for university, whether it's for undergrad or for grad, really does force you to do this anyway. You really have to think about who you've been as a person and who you want to become, where you want to go next. I think spending the time to reflect on yourself and your intentions and what you want to get out of this program will really help you craft a great SOP. Okay, and that pretty much concludes this video. I guess if I haven't announced it before, I am moving to Seattle and going to UW for this specific program. So get ready for more Seattle vlogs. I'll also continue to document just me navigating my 20s as someone who still has to look for their first full-time job, as someone who's trying to like pivot careers before they even really started a career, and just like grad school. So much content up ahead. I'm very excited. But yeah, as always, just want to thank everybody who supported me on my journey thus far. We just reached 200 subscribers on YouTube. I hope you guys really do like my content and find it helpful. But I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Pick a movie, I'll pick you up, we'll go eat sushi, or we'll go downtown with our best moves we can